shadow in the government's game. Pawn as a child with no face and no name. They stole my past to leave me cold and alone. Always searching for a place I could call home. I was lost in the dark, just a tool in the hand, till she pulled me close and helped me understand. Now the fire inside is starting to rise. I can see the truth through 1,000 lies. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. In the dead of the night, I can hear the call. All the ghosts of my past scratching through the wall. My eyes change colors, the power has grown. With Crowley the hound, I am never alone. I used to be hollow, a man made of glass, but now I am reclaiming every year that has passed. Every memory is falling right back into place. I know every name and I remember every face. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's a magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I ain't running no more, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Gonna settle that debt in the depth of the night. They tried to break me, they tried to erase, but they can't hide the blood from the scars on my face. The veil is thin and the engine is hot. I'm taking back everything that they thought I forgot. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I remember it all now. Every single face, I'm calling for you in the dead of the night.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Henry. If your first time here, welcome. If you've been following the channel, thank you, and glad to have you still here if you're here. Tonight, I'm going to tell another true ghost story. This really did happen, and the way it happened was funny as hell. Growing up, when I was little, I used to be scared of the dark, afraid of all the boogeymen out there, and I was a little feller, and well, if you know anything about the baby boomer generation, that was my dad. They were hardcore because their parents was hard on them. Well, he used to always give me shit all the time, and I'd run out to feed the coon dog and got a flashlight in hand, and I'd run out there and run back, and he'd say, "What the hell's wrong with you?" "I don't want no damn son that's a pansy. There ain't nothing out there that'll get you." Well, he knew differently, but, back in those days, you had to be cool. You drink beer, smoke cigarettes, and pretend that you wasn't scared of nothing. Well, I was in my late 20s at the time, and It was going to be a road trip. We was going to take a few beers. Of course, back then I did drink. We was going to take a few beers and just go riding around the country roads and shoot the shit, Kind of like father and son bonding time. Well, this particular night, it took one hell of a twist. Now, as an 18, 19-year-old, 16-year-old, us guys get together in a vehicle and we go out, ride around country roads, drink a few beers and smoke a few cigarettes, talk a little shit, a little trash. Unlike the kids nowadays, we always made our own fun. Well, one particular night, me and some guys took off and riding around, drinking beer, shooting shit, and this happened in the Midwest, along the Great River Road in Illinois. Well, one of the guys lived quite a ways away, so he was the last one that got dropped off. Well, we passed through a little tiny town that sits down in the bottoms called Eldred. Yeah, I said Eldred. Eldred, Illinois. Well, instead of turning right to go toward Carrollton, we went north going toward this little town called Hillview. Well, his mom and dad was divorced, so he was staying with his dad during the summer. Well, you get going north on the river road there, old Route 3, and a little ways out of the town there, you'll come to a cemetery that the road, the blacktop there, the Eldred Hillview blacktop runs between them, the cemetery. Don't ask me why, but there's people buried on the left side and there's people buried there at the foot of the bluff. Nice little cemetery during the day. Now, all along them bluff there is a bunch of caves, and I've been in each and every one of them probably a dozen or two times over the period of years. Used to like to do a little bit of cave exploring. Not nothing too crazy, but it was something to do. Well, I grew up, learned not to be scared of the dark, but I still knew there was shit to go bumping at night. But I'd convinced myself that my dad, if somebody told him that, hey, I scared the hell out of old Henry, I'd never live it down. So I come to terms with the dark and everything that goes bumping at night. And I don't care how big you are, how old you are, or what walk of life you come from. You see a cryptid or a ghost at night, and I guarantee you, it will make a cold chill run right down your spine and make you turn the other way and want to get the hell out of there. And I ain't no different. But I had a friend of mine in the vehicle, and he knew my dad too. So I very well, that was going to be my last resort, was to show any kind of fear. So we're bopping up through there, and he proceeds to tell me, he said, if you ever come through here at nighttime, you see a bus burnt, smoking, You see a bunch of little kids and a woman, or you see this woman walking down the road. Whatever you do, man, don't stop and pick her up. Don't pull over for that wreck, 'cause it ain't a real wreck. It did happen in the 1950s. But the ghost shows up sometimes at nighttime. You use the school bus smoking and sometimes on fire. Some of these kids are standing out along the road bawling and crying, and sometimes you see just the old teacher walking down the road sobbing, dress half burnt. Whatever you do, man, don't pull over. I was like, dude, what kind of crack you been smoking? He goes, no, man, I'm telling you, we've seen her. Scared the shit plumb out of you. But of course, I tried to blow it off, even though I'd had all kinds of experiences. I've yet to experience that one, though. So I kind of laughed, joked it off. Then we come to where that cemetery was on both sides of the blacktop. And he goes, now, the school teacher's buried here. Sometime during the day, I'll show you her tombstone. Like, okay. That's about, what about the kids and the bus driver? Oh, on up the road here, there's like a zigzag. You look off to your right across that little bitty small field there, and you'll see another cemetery. He said, I'll take you there and show you too. That's where the kids and the bus driver's buried. He said, I'll show you. There's a monument thing over there too. I'm like, cool. I said, so what happened? Well, he said, you notice how the bluff on my side, which is the passenger side, how it's kind of close to the road? Yeah. He said, well, a bunch of students, young grade school kids, was on the bus with a teacher and bus driver. They'd went on a kind of a sightseeing trip, and on the way home that night, for whatever reason, nobody really knew why, maybe one of them old rocks broke loose up there on the bluff, rode down the hill, through the fence, and right in the middle of the road, about the time that school bus got there, hit it, turned over, it caught fire. The teacher got some of those kids out of there. The bus driver, he was pinned in there. She was trying to save all the kids. Well, she got out a handful or two and proceeded to go back in, trying to free the bus driver because he was tangled up in there, and get the kids out too. Well, a fire started because the gas line broke. Engine was hot. First she smoked a little bit, then the fire started in the engine compartment, started working its way back through the inside of that bus. While the teacher was trying to get the rest of the kids out and the bus driver. Well, she did manage to save quite a few kids, but the bus exploded. So the remaining kids, her, and the bus driver went up in flames. He said, man, nighttime you can hear them mournful cries. And those kids stand along the road there and see them sometimes. Just raise the hair on the back of your neck. So I'm listening to this story. Anyway, he said, finally, fire department made out there, and by the time they got there, the bus was totally gone, just a shell of itself, and the remains of the people that got burnt inside, but they sprayed it down so they could get the door open, maybe in hopes somebody in there survived. But nope, the ones still in the bus perished, and they said it was a grisly scene. Well, by that time we pulled into the driveway, and I said goodnight and shut the door in the truck, turned around right there in the driveway, made sure he made it in the house, made sure he didn't pass out there on the porch. Porch light went out, so I headed on out to the blacktop and headed back down the road. I started thinking about the story he had told me. Let me tell you, I was all eyes and all ears all the way back down that road and right in between that cemetery. And when I come to that cemetery, I had them old lights on bright, and I was looking like, oh man, I've had a little bit to drink. I even rolled my windows up, hoping not to hear nothing. And I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I was a little scared. I did not want to see this sight. I didn't want to see the lady. I didn't want to see the bus, the kids. I just wanted to go home. So, all the way home, I thought about this, replayed this story over and over in my head about what it must have been like. Awful sight. Well, I went to sleep that night, and that story was still playing in my head. So, skip on a couple weeks. Me and my dad decided to take off and go on a road trip, like I was telling you earlier. So, that night, grabbed a cooler, put it up against the cab in the back of the truck where the sliding glass window was. That way I just reach out the window instead of getting out. Or he could reach out the window. He had longer arms. Besides, I was going to be driving. Well, we left the house and started shooting the shit and drinking. And I said, remember you used to tell me not to be scared of the dark and you used to give me shit all the time? He goes, goddamn, he said, you was so scared of the dark it wasn't funny. You'd run plumb out there to feed that coon dog, run back in out of breath, looked like you was going to pass out. I said, yeah. I said, but you remember the old haunted house we lived in and all the shit we seen? He didn't want to talk about it. That told me there that he was scared of ghosts, but he wasn't going to come out and boldly admit it. I don't care how many beers you give him. So we riding around, and I decided to relay the story to him as we were riding around shooting shit. And he's sitting there, he's listening, and I could tell he really started puffing on that cigarette. He goes, you're full of shit. I said, no, it really did happen in the 1950s. He goes, well, I don't remember hearing nothing about it. I said, well, just because you didn't hear about it don't mean it didn't happen. When the hell did this happen? So I told him. He goes, well, we ain't real far from there. Just go right on over the hill and you'll hit the Elder Blacktop. Then just go north. Okay. Remember, I warned you. He goes, well, did you ever see anything there? I said, no, and I don't want to either. I said, especially not while I'm driving. I said, I just don't care to see that. But hey, I'll show you. So, we hit the Eldred blacktop, come through Eldred and come to the two-way stop there. You had to stop when you're coming from the south, and you had to stop when you come from the north. East and west traffic, they didn't have to stop, because that was the highway. Well, we crossed over the highway there and headed north, and the Elder Blacktop ceases there, and it turns into Hillview Blacktop. He goes, I think I know the cemetery you're talking about. It's on both sides of the road. I said, yeah. I said, but on up from it, there's a cemetery that's kind of back there in the, behind that little small tiny field there, and there's like a little wood line. That's where the other cemetery is, and there's a monument there. He goes, well, I know where you're talking about. He said, I didn't know about the old cemetery with the monument thing. We was bopping up to there. He goes, you ready? I said, yeah. So he opened the sliding glass window and got me and him a beer. And we sitting there drinking it, laughing, and talking about it. And he goes, you sure you ain't full of shit? I said, no, I'm telling you the truth. I said, a buddy of mine would tell me about it. I said, I checked into it. It really did happen. Well, let's just see if we see anything. That's where we're headed to. So we're bopping up through there. About 35, 40 mile an hour, because hell, there ain't nighttime, there ain't never nobody on that road, hardly. It's kind of a dead blacktop. We was watching the cliffside there and looking, watching for deer, and we come past this one old farm, and that's the last turn to your right before you get to this cemetery that you pretty much drive right to the center of it. It's on both sides of the road. I told him that's right up here at the cemetery. He said, yeah, he said, I've been by here thousands of times. I said, you never heard about it? And he goes, no. He said, I thought you was full of shit. I said, no. I said, between here and the corner way up here, that zigzag, there's that cemetery, and I'll stop there and turn that truck that away to shine the light, and you can see the cemetery. He goes, well, I sure don't remember there being a cemetery back there. That's what there is. So we got up there, and where that zigzag is, I turned in there to the cemetery road, kicked the lights on bright, and sure enough, there's a cemetery there. Well, Dad goes, pull on back there. I said, well, I hope the hell there's a turnaround place back there. Otherwise, I'm going to have to back all the way out of here. So I easing it forward, and we got about halfway up that driveway that goes to that cemetery set back there at the end of that field and in them woods there. I kicked my lights on dim. I kicked them back up on bright because I thought I seen something, but I wasn't sure. Well, my dad is all eyes, but he's up at that old window, the front windshield, just staring and looking things over, trying to see if he can see something. He goes, go ahead and ease on up there. He said, but we ain't getting out. I said, well, then what the hell are we going up there for? He said, well, I got to piss. Okay. He said, far enough off the road, nobody shouldn't bother me while I'm taking a piss. He said, we turn around back there. I said, okay. So I pull on back there, and he goes, turn your lights off. Not draw no attention. So I turned the lights off. He opened the door, and he's standing there relieving himself. So I was sitting there just looking at the old cemetery, and All of a sudden, I heard the door open, and dome light inside kicked on, and I said, "Feel better?" He said, "Back the truck up. Kick them lights on bright." "Why, did you see something? Deer or coon or what? Coyote?" "No," he said, "there's something over there moving in that cemetery." I said, "Well, it might be an old deer." So I put the truck, it was a stick shift, 5-speed. I put it in reverse, and backup lights come on, so I kicked the lights on bright. I'll be goddamn. There was a woman in the cemetery standing behind a tombstone, and all you could see was like this much of her, just from like her eyes up. Big old giant hairdo. I guess they call them beehives. And this lady, she turned her head and looked toward my dad, and she turned her head and looked toward me, and just kept doing it back and forth. While I'm sitting there with the clutch pushed in, brake on, Dad goes, "Probably some young goddamn kids fucking with us. Pull up there." "You sure?" "Yeah, pull on up there." "Okay." I put it in first gear, granny low, let out on the clutch, and started easing up that way. That woman peeked from one side of the tombstone. Dad goes, "I'll give them one thing, they're gutsy motherfuckers." Seems like it. So I kept rolling and put the brake on the truck. Dad opened the door and he said, "Take it out of gear and put the parking brake on." I said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "I'm going to scare the shit out of them." Okay. So I put the parking brake on and stepped outside the truck. Had the door open still. He starts walking toward the gate. This woman ghost, phantom, whatever you want to call it, she stood completely up. And when she stood up, she give a scream that would curl the hair on your head. I'll tell you what, I never seen an old man run so fast. He run back to the truck, hollering, get in, let's get the hell out of here." This is no shit. That woman, she didn't run. She floated toward the gate in that cemetery coming right straight at us. I started cramming gears, clutching and cramming gears. By the time I hit the blacktop, I was already running 65 mile an hour in a 5-speed pickup, little miniature truck. I hit that blacktop, my wheels, all 4 wheels were spinning. I hit that blacktop, and that so much caught hold. It was like leapfrog. It just bounced across that highway. Well, we got the hell out of there and got back up to Eldred, and there's a place right there in the corner. It used to be a restaurant, and they had a payphone there. They had to pull over for a minute. So I pulled in there, and he got out and took another piss. Scared the piss out of him. It scared me, too. He opened that cooler and got both of the beer. Got back in, he goes, "Oh, my God," he said, "I thought you was bullshitting." I said, "No, told you I wasn't." I said, "I'm glad we didn't see her on the fucking road." So we ended up back home. It was probably about 2 years later. And me and him, I'd got him a job up at a place where I used to work way up north there. Every day we'd leave about 2 o'clock and be at work by 3. Nighttime we got off pretty late, and you could take the long way around, but that's a long ass ride. So we'd take a shortcut, come down the Hillview Elder Blacktop. Well, one night during the summer, it had been raining all day and all friggin' night. Well, we got off, we stopped in this bigger town and cashed a check, got a 12-pack, put in the cooler, throw some ice in there. We head down the road, and he goes, "We taking the long way home tonight or a short way?" I said, hell. We'll take the country way, which was a short way. He goes, "Good." He said, "That other way, I can't drink no beer." He said, "Damn cops everywhere." I said, "Yeah, we'll just take the scenic view." So we head down off the highway there and turned onto the Hillview Elder Blacktop from the north end. Bopped down through there, and he said, "Remember that night we seen that female ghost in the cemetery down here?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's goddamn funny now. You used to give me shit about being scared of dark, and you was one come running back to the truck." I said, "I won't lie, it scared the shit out of me." He started laughing. He goes, "I never want to see that again." Shit, me neither. So we bopped down the road, come past Hillview, be there off the road, and to your left there, that overpass, it goes over top of a little creek. And you go up and over it and keep on going on the blacktop there, and takes you into Eldred. We were still laughing about that. He said, "I almost pissed myself." I said, "I know, you had to stop there at the damn four-way, take a piss right there by the goddamn phone booth. It's wonder damn cop didn't come along and get both of us. You for pissing and me for sitting there laughing at you." I said, "But it was funny. Especially to see you scared like that. That was really worth it. That was funny as hell." I said, "But I ain't gonna lie to you. If I'd have turned around while I was trying to turn the truck around, looking at the back, and I seen her in the back truck, that truck would have been full of toxic waste. I'd have shit everywhere." I said, "But luckily that didn't happen. I didn't shit everywhere, and I didn't have to clean my truck out." So we're going along, the windshield wipers smack, 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 you know. He goes, "You think this rain will ever let up?" "Hope the hell so. Gonna make a mess of everything. Rained all damn day, and right up until now, and shit, it's after midnight." We come to that damn, right there just before that zigzag, or that old cemetery where he got out to take a piss and seen that ghost in there. He goes, "Right up here," he said, "there's an old barn," and he said, "There's kind of a road that goes to that barn." He said, "Just kind of pull over there." He said, "I gotta pee bad." Okay. So he gets out and he's peeing and peeing. I was like, Jesus damn Christ. Finally, he climbed back in the truck, lights him a cigarette. I said, "Well, you ready?" "Yep." So I started cramming the gears and pull out there on the blacktop. It ain't probably about 3 city blocks and you come to that zigzag where that old cemetery is. And it's raining. I mean, it's raining cats and dogs. We're going down there, and he goes, "You got your lights on bright?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You never know, maybe an old deer or fox or something run out in front of you. He said, give you time to see it." I said, "Okay." Oh, they're on bright. There's a little blue light there, and the thing shining, that means they're on bright. He goes, "It's raining so goddamn hard, you really can't tell." We come past that old cemetery off there to your left, back in the woods in the field there. Dad didn't even look over there. I glanced and kept going. Now, in the headlights, I could see that cemetery that we had to cut through on the blacktop that separated the cemetery. And lo and behold, I seen something, and I thought first it was a deer, because it was quite a ways up there. Trying to look between the raindrops and a little bit of fog. But I could see something come up out of that cemetery from the left coming to the right. I seen the gate open, because I'm still headed that way. Gate open, and there's like 4 steps. You have to go down, and then there's a little flat place, and then the blacktop road we was coming down. When I seen that puffy dress and that woman walking down them steps, I wasn't sure if it was a real person because it looked solid. Dad goes, "Hey, slow down, there's a lady up here." So I went from 5th gear, touched the brake a little bit, put her in 4th gear. Then I hit the gas a little bit and dropped down to 3rd gear. This woman didn't flinch. She's coming out, walked right across the road. Now she's standing on his side of the road, passenger side, to the far right. He goes, "You ain't got nothing," because I had a club cab truck. He said, "You ain't got nothing in back there, do you?" I said, "Just an old coat." He goes, "Well, let's give her a ride. She's walking in the rain. She's got to be wet." I said, "You sure you want me to pull over?" "Well, where the hell's your manners at? You ain't letting no lady walk in the rain." "Okay, she's on your side." So I pulled up there, put the clutch in, and I shoved that sumbitch in 2nd gear. Pulled up there and he goes, "Ma'am." The lady didn't answer. "Ma'am. Miss." The lady stopped. Dad goes, "You got a flashlight in here?" I said, "Yeah." So I give him my flashlight that I kept in the seat right down between my legs there. There was a gun holster under there, and I kept a flashlight in there. So I gave it to him, and he spun around. Finally, he finds out how to turn it on. He rolled his window down further. He starts to open the truck door, but he takes that flashlight and shines. Shined on her feet, the upper dress. Now, I'm having a hard time because I'm trying to watch for if there's anything coming. And all of a sudden, he threw that damn flashlight in the seat and started screaming, "Get the hell going." And I just happened to turn my head to look. She's standing and she's looking, leaned down looking in the pickup truck if she had eyes. This part of her face wasn't nothing, just a black void. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I started cramming gears. He was a hollering and he was a rolling that window up as fast as he'd get it. I had kicked the light on for the bed of the truck, which is on the back of the cab there over top of the sliding glass doors, to give her light. As I'm hauling ass down that road to get the hell away from this thing, I look in the rearview mirror. She went from the crouched down position looking in where the passenger side window was, she just kind of stood back up, and I actually seen her. It looked like she melted into the blacktop. The rest of the time that we worked up north together, we didn't take that road no more. Piss on that shit. I actually believe she would have gotten a vehicle with us. I would have tore that vehicle apart and getting the fuck out of there too. After I shit myself. Never did that again. Do I know for a fact that she was a school teacher? Have no clue. Or was she somebody else that was buried in that cemetery on each side of the road? I don't know, but it's just damn funny. She had on period clothes from that time back in the 50s. Did I ever go back? Hell no, I didn't go back. If she'd have climbed in the truck or appeared in the seat of the truck, as much as I liked that truck, I would open my door at 65 miles an hour and jumped out and took my chances rather than sitting there with a faceless ghost in my truck after midnight. Then I'd probably had a damn heart attack. But in any case, just a warning. If you ever find yourself in the Midwest, on the Hillview Blacktop, which is part of Route 3, north of Eldred, that's a lonely stretch of blacktop, and you have to pass by through that one cemetery and by the other one. And in between the two, you might run onto a ghostly phantom. It went on probably about another 5 years. We had long since left that job. Well, come out in the newspaper. A guy said that he was coming home from work one night, and he seen a bunch of lights, and wanted to know if anybody had witnessed this. For a long time, nobody answered his question. Well, about 2 years later, the guy was going to work, and he'd switched over working nights. Well, he'd going up there about 10 o'clock at night, up through there, and just on his way to work. Wouldn't bother a soul. He come there between those two cemeteries, and he seen something fly out of that cemetery on the right-hand side, hit the vehicle, and went on into the other part of the cemetery. He wasn't sure what the hell he hit. It was just a blur. So he got his truck stopped, backed up, and thinking, oh my God, I'm on my way to work. This can't be happening. What the hell did I hit? What the hell come off that hill? He backed up. That was his mistake. He got in between those two cemeteries and got stopped. He's looking out his driver's side window, and he don't see nothing, but damn, he knows that something had to be laying there. So he grabs a flashlight out of the glove box and opened the door. As soon as he steps out of the truck and hits that light, turn it on, and shine on the left side there, where he's now facing, there's this woman standing in this big dress. And she ain't but about a foot from him. she ain't got no face. That poor guy was so scared, he jumped in the driver's side, back in the truck, crossed the seat, kicked the other door open, and took off down the blacktop. And it gets worse. This poor guy is so scared he don't know which way he's running, but he's running up the damn blacktop. Well, not far, there's a little gravel road that comes out from another little town that's back up there in the hills. This farmer is going down to check hogs, and he comes flying down there, and about time he hits that road, he's running a little too fast and he can't get stopped. He'd done it 1,000,000 times. The guy that was running was watching behind him, didn't see that damn truck. That truck hit that guy. Luckily, the bed's what hit him and not getting hit head on, but it broke both of his legs. Well, the farmer's like, what the hell? Where the hell did he come from? Didn't even see him. So he stops the truck and backs up and gets out, and the guy's complaining about his legs, and he says, man, you gotta get me the fuck out of here. This goddamn ghost, I left my truck down there. I fucked that. I got in and jumped out on the side and come up the road, and then damn, you run over me. He goes, well, let me see if I can get you up and get you in the... He said, man, I'm on my way to work. He goes, with 2 broke legs, you ain't gonna be going to work. This is a medical emergency. He said, I'm going to open the tailgate on the truck. And he said, I know I can't get you in the front seat without really hurting your legs. So he said, I'll lay you in the back of the truck and we'll take you to the emergency room. He goes, how you going to get us there? He said, well, I'll head back toward Elder. And he goes, nah, fuck that. Take country road, I don't care. You don't go between them cemeteries. That's where that damn lady was. That's how I got here and in the shape I'm in. No, fuck that, I'll crawl. It's okay, man, calm down. So he puts him in the back of the truck and he shuts the tailgate, throws a couple coats on him. He said, I'll drive slow, he said, slow as I can. He said, I know you're in a lot of pain. Well, the guy gets to the hospital and explains what happened, and the driver, he explains. Well, them doctors and nurses in there just laughing their ass off. Like, this guy must be drunk. He said, I ain't had a bit to drink, I was going to work. And he said, I seen that faceless lady, and he said, fuck that, she got out of the truck, I took off, running. And I'm damn, he hit me. You was on your way to work. Yeah. They said, why don't you give us the number to where you work, and we can at least let them know that there's been an accident and you won't be in. And he said, well, I'd sure appreciate that. Now, still this guy keeping his mouth shut. While they're on the phone, the boss says he wants, if it's okay if he talked to the guy who got hurt. That's supposed to be coming to work. They said, well, yeah, because just make it quick, because we're going to take him in and put cast on him, x-ray and put cast on him. So they put the phone up to the guy's ear, and the guy's hanging on the phone. He said, yeah, he said, I got hit. And he said, both legs are broke. And he said, I don't know when I'll be able to return to work. And they said, well, no problem, just keep us updated. He goes, it wouldn't have happened, but I seen that goddamn ghost with no face. Damn woman ghost. That right there was all it took. They fired that poor bastard. Thought he was nuts. Well, luckily, one of the trainers up there lived down by that cemetery back in the woods there. Well, when she got wind, she knew the guy got hit. She went to the hospital, seen him. She said, I'll explain to him. She goes, just concentrate on getting better. Don't worry about it. So she goes to work the next day, and she's talking to the owners. And she's like, hey, I live down there, and he's not lying. There is a ghost that walks up along that road between those two cemeteries. And everybody knows that lives around there. Don't stop and pick her up. Don't dilly-dally in there, and for damn sure don't get out and stop and take a piss. She never harmed nobody, she just scared the hell out of you. Well, they said, so he really wasn't drinking. She's like, no, he's on his way to work. You never had no problem with it before, and he never missed any work. Well, when he healed, they let him come back to work. My dad hung on to that newspaper clipping for a long time. So we tracked the guy down and was telling him what happened to us. He said, you know, nobody's ever had the encounter like you had and I had. Or if they did, they ain't gonna own up to it. He said, I waited for somebody to validate this besides the lady I worked with. And he said, finally, somebody come forward and validated his claims. Because we had seen her. I'd already heard the story. But needless to say, up until the day that my dad passed away with cancer, he would never go up that stretch of blacktop. He'd go 100 miles around that son of a bitch, just so he didn't see that again, because it scared shit out of him. It scared me too. So if you're ever up that way, and you're on that long stretch there, and you come between those two cemeteries, just be aware. There is some ghosts that travel up along between those two cemeteries on that stretch of road. And if you're unfortunate enough to be there, and the time is right, setting's right, you could see the ghost of them kids or the school bus and the kids and this woman and the bus driver. Or you could see any one of them walking that stretch of road there where the accident happened. So, you hang on to that story in case you're ever up that way and it happens to you. You'll know that other people seen it too. And I'm one of them. Dad ain't alive no more. But that's a true story. Those caves along there are just as haunted as that damn road. So, just be careful at night. Be careful when you pull over to see somebody walking in the rain or the snow. Just make sure that they're a real person. They don't turn around with no face at all. Scare the hell out of you. I know it scared the shit out of me. So just be wary. Ghosts are all over the place. You never know where you're going to run onto one. She ain't never hurt nobody. But it sure scares the shit out of you. So y'all take care. If you like the story, give me a thumbs up. It's a true story. It did happen. I can show you right where it happened. And there is a marker in the cemetery that tells about the bus accident. So just remember, ghosts can be anywhere and everywhere, not just in your home, not just in the cemetery. They can be anywhere and everywhere. So until the next time, y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Good night.